Have you ever woken up, checked your surroundings, felt relief that the dream was over, only to realize moments later that you were still dreaming? This experience is called a false awakening, and it is one of the most unsettling states the human mind can produce. It blurs the boundary between reality and imagination so convincingly that certainty collapses. The question it raises is not just why it happens, but what it reveals about consciousness itself. A false awakening occurs when the brain simulates the act of waking up while you remain asleep. Your room looks familiar, your body feels normal. You may get out of bed, check your phone, or begin your routine. Everything feels real because the mind is exceptionally skilled at recreating reality from memory. The shock comes later when something feels slightly off and awareness snaps back into another layer of dreaming. Neurologically, this happens during REM sleep, when the brain is highly active but the body remains paralyzed. The mind transitions toward wakefulness but does not fully arrive. Instead, it constructs a convincing replica of reality. The same neural networks used for perception are active, so the experience feels authentic. The brain does not distinguish between imagined input and external input at this stage. Psychologically, false awakenings often occur during periods of stress, anxiety, or heightened self-awareness. They tend to appear when the mind is overactive, when control is desired but unavailable. The dream creates a sense of relief, followed by confusion. This emotional pattern mirrors waking life, where certainty is often temporary and control is fragile. What makes false awakenings especially disturbing is repetition. Some people experience multiple false awakenings in sequence, waking up again and again inside dreams. Each layer feels more convincing than the last. This repetition erodes trust in perception. It forces a realization that awareness alone does not guarantee reality. You can be conscious and still mistaken. This realization has philosophical weight. If the mind can fabricate reality so convincingly, how much of waking life is filtered, interpreted, or assumed? False awakenings expose how much certainty depends on habit rather than proof. We trust reality because it is consistent, not because it is verified. Dreams temporarily remove that consistency. Symbolically, false awakenings often reflect internal conflict. The dream says, "You think you are awake, but you are not." This can point to unexamined routines, unconscious behaviors, or emotional patterns running on autopilot. The mind uses dreams to communicate indirectly. Being falsely awake mirrors living without awareness. Lucid dreamers often encounter false awakenings as a threshold state. Awareness begins to rise, but the dream resists dissolution. This creates tension. Control feels close, yet unreachable. The lesson here is subtle. Awareness must be calm, not forceful. Struggle prolongs the illusion. Observation dissolves it. False awakenings also reveal how identity is constructed. In the dream, you believe you are you because the environment supports that belief. Familiarity creates identity. When that familiarity is exposed as false, identity briefly destabilizes. This can feel frightening, but it is also revealing. It shows how the sense of self is tied to context. Some spiritual traditions view false awakenings as metaphors for enlightenment. The idea that most people are awake but not aware appears across philosophies. In this sense, the dream becomes a teaching tool. It asks a quiet but unsettling question. What if waking life contains its own false awakenings? The fear in false awakenings does not come from danger. It comes from uncertainty. The mind wants ground. It wants confirmation. When confirmation disappears, anxiety rises. Yet awareness remains. Something is still watching, still present, even as certainty collapses. This suggests that awareness itself is more stable than reality. Eventually, the dream resolves. The body wakes, reality stabilizes, but the memory lingers. Many people report a subtle shift afterward, increased questioning, heightened awareness, a sense that perception is less solid than it once seemed. The false awakening leaves a psychological echo. So what is a false awakening truly about? It is not just a sleep phenomenon, it is a demonstration, a reminder that consciousness can exist independently of certainty, that reality is interpreted, not absolute, and that awareness is deeper than any single layer of experience. The most unsettling question is not whether you are dreaming, it is how often you assume you are awake without questioning what awareness really means. False awakenings do not trap you, They expose the fragile boundary between knowing and believing. And when you wake from one, the dream does not ask for fear. It asks for attention.